Okay, so for the record, what I have here is a meme that I was reading in my feed from Facebook. And, well, not credit to me, credit to, well, these people here. But that's not the important part. The important part here is that the guy who shared this post put, but there's not enough room in the garage. So, in the interest of having a little bit of fun, I have decided that I'm going to recreate this house idea, and then I'm going to add more garage to it without increasing the footprint on it whatsoever. Now, just for the record, I am having a couple. I have a couple of add-ons added that I am using. So, I might as well just show my enabled screencast keys. Archmesh is an arch pack are what I'm going to be using today to create the walls, ceilings, etc. And here I've also, somewhere in this list, I've got, my pie menu and a few other fun toys that I may or may not use. I really should have written a script before I started, but... So yeah, pie menu lets me, instead of pressing Z and going to, I believe it would normally be, it would normally be switching between solid and wireframe. When I press Z, I just get a quick pie menu. I've also on here got, also lets me tab, and instead of going straight to edit mode, gives me the option to either go into vertex paint, sculpt, weight paint, or texture. And for the purpose of housekeeping, I am simply using a plane to be the backdrop instead of using a background image, because I've only got a top view to work with. So, or would it be a bottom and a top view? So, I'm going to make this non-renderable and non-selectable. So, cursor to center, and away we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this as is. And one thing with Archmesh or Archie Pack is that when you install the add-on, it just adds it under, when you do Shift A, you can add your stuff. So what I'm going to start off doing actually R180 G Actually, I'll just do myself a favor and... Yeah, although these add-ons may be seen as a little cheapish, boy, do they save time. And right now, I'm not super concerned about uber accuracy, but more of what I'm more concerned with right now is just putting in a rough, this is how things are going to be type of thing. Yeah, it's important to note that although I did mention using this, it's not my, it's not something I've spent a whole lot of time working on. I've not spent a whole lot of time working with this particular add-on, so I don't know what all of the things are, especially considering not everything loaded in when I download the thing. But we'll just say for the sake of my sanity that I'm going to go with a different one. Visual selection, exit, and let's just find a window that we like. Okay, so I think in here I can actually change the type that I'm using. Oh, it's a portal in there. That's actually kind of nice. So let's go to 3. Nope. I should probably consider reading these before I select. Okay, so this is a flat one. Again, nope. Let's go with this guy here. There comes a point where you simply have to decide that you don't care anymore. Ooh, I can make portals. Nope, nope. This is what would be designed by petrol heads. So considering that this is just a straight up window, I'm going to have to go with this one. I'm using Alt-D to ensure that these are linked objects, considering since these window holes are all the same size, it would be much smarter on my part to ensure that I'm using linked objects as opposed to, well, duplicated objects. And that comes into a little bit of performance issues when you take the fact that we're dealing with Blender here. Wait a second. I just put these windows in backwards. Note to self. Never assume. Double check and verify. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to... And actually, here's a little bit of a cheater's notice. All arch mesh, this isn't arch mesh. All Archie pack really does is it creates a plane, so for the walls at least, it creates a plane, and the minimal amount of work possible being a solidify modifier. If I could learn to speak today, the day would go much better. Okay. And yes, right now I am just using customizations to make things kind of look correct. Oh, I've also have this limit selection to visible turned off. It's usually turned on by default. And basically what it would make happen is that if I had a full-on mesh instead of this solidified thing, I would not be able to select vertices behind a solid face. I do this mostly because, well, if I had it like this, and I said want to select that vertice there, well, I can't. I'd have to come over here. Whereas here, I can kind of see through that. Makes things a little difficult on my more complex work. You can review my channel, like and subscribe if you find any of this content at least moderately interesting, by the way. And yes, I'm just kind of zipping around right now because I'd kind of like to get this part over with so I can get on to building out the next part. But you know, I gotta show a little bit of patience. And I'll just have those be a whole nother thing there. Okay, so I can actually use hell. Well, that's good to know. And then there's the interior. Now, I know you can't hear it, but right now I am listening to some cool music. So if I get taken aback, it's because... Oh, I came across some cool music. Okay, well, Archmesh is having issues, so... Let's see. Let's go with a garage door. Okay, now where in the world did you put that? Okay, I feel like an idiot now. It won't add a door when it is in... edit mode. It's the silly things in life that'll get you every time. It's like, why won't this work? Hypothesis, Captain. You are a moron. Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. Oh well. Now, let's see. Should I have this be just a door for the whole width or one door apiece? Oh. Oh. Also interesting note, sometimes things don't quite operate the way you think they should. Oh well. You know, I'm going to just give this a little bit of a lip outside and just have the thing come in a little bit too. I know it makes absolutely no difference in the long haul, but you know, I'm the one who has to deal with this. Okay, now time for the fun part. Now let's add a thicker wall, just because. This will be our outside wall. Make it taller than everything else, just to signify just how important this guy is. And I want that to go the other 90. Up. Okay, so there we go. I'll add my bool modifiers into in a little bit to make those windows actually appear as they should. There's only going to be one time that I'm going to see one of these things actually be in the correct direction, I dare say. Oh well. Okay, so let's see. That's 6, 5. Let's. And yes, right now I'm just kind of also. Okay then, well, I'm not going to worry about that anymore. Okay, now be the correct direction for once. Yay! And you also the correct direction for once. Yay! And now back to the wrong direction for the remainder of this insanity. Help me, folks. I think I'm going insane. Too late. I'm already insane. But hey, good effort. Okay, so And I have a minor dilemma. That's not the right one. Well, I sincerely don't think anybody's going to manage to, mistake that for anything. And now then. Time to use a modifier that I really don't have as much, I must admit, not nearly as much practice with as I should. The Boolean modifier. And this modifier at least it should. Okay, well that would pose part of the difficulty. Well, you know, for every problem there is a solution, yes? No, there's not always a solution, but we like to think there could be. So, Okay, let's get my head over this. There we go. Actually, okay, so then. Here is what I'll do. For the sake of continuity's sake. Yes, I know, that sounds horrible. But, let's see. Bridge edge loops. Okay, what I am doing here is... Well, apparently what I'm doing is I'm making things worse on myself. Because I just had that object and I don't know what happened to it. So... Tilde, H, and cry your heart out because I mess up. Cursor selection, Shift A, Cube, Temp, GZ. Okay, so this. Make sure I set that to non-renderable. More or less what I'm doing is just placing these guys here just to be accurate-ish. All I want these things to do. Actually, let's go here. New object and object data, Control J, hide, 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 hide. Oh. Okay. Okay. Now that that little piece of work is done, let us select the bool window. And then re-enable that. And just make the bool window not visible. I like not visible. Not visible works just fine for me. And, you know, it's not the prettiest thing, but for what it is, it's not horrid. Okay, that makes things slightly easier to manage. Okay. Don't care about any of those. Let's add more wool stuff just so that I am happy. I'll call this gdor.bool. And what these are going to do is, after I select them and come over to modifiers, I'm going to add another bool and select that, and I'm going to change it from intersect to difference and move those to 2. Wait a second, that should be nah, whatever. We will just pretend and use our imagination that... No, we won't. We will do this the old-fashioned way, if I must. I know I was just going to use modifiers, but the temptation is too real. So what if it's not the most precise thing in the world? Bye-bye modifiers, we don't need you. And just some finishing touches. And now, oh, somebody forgot yours. Okay, doors. Right. Let's see what this guy has for doors. Two. Oh, that makes a difference, knowing that that's glass. I'm sure the stream is just throwing a hissy fit right now, but I couldn't help it. Note to self. Petrol heads do not know the size of doors. Or could it be that I just don't understand size? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to scale things up a bit around here. Okay, so we are going to just say 1.5 just for the sake of consistency. Okay, there we go. Something was feeling slightly off about that scale anyways. Note to self, fix that up. Also note to self, fix that one up as well. Back those up just a little bit. Okay, so yes, right now all I'm doing is just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Or as I like to call this, guesswork. Did somebody forget to copy the door? Yes, somebody definitely forgot to copy the door. Okay, I'm presuming that these control holes are meant for bullying, which is exactly what I was trying to get away with here. But who cares? That is an odd way to control a garage door, I will be the first to admit, but hey. Free Nation. Okay, so for those of you just tuning in, if there are anybody, I'm not actually paying attention to the stream. I probably should be as I think about this for a second, but what your host is doing today is going insane. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Time to switch this to wireframe because doing this any other way is going to get very irritating very quickly. Okay, so then. And of course, the computer that is just, I should saving now so I don't actually crash my computer. Oh, so I'm not nearly as close as I thought I was. Pardon the belching. And yes, I just said belchy live. And yes, the little part of the kitchen there needs its own little roof segment. I'll figure that part out later. Let's see if that does anything other than... Okay, so... my only controls are widths and... this one here is kind of a useless controller. Okay, let's try a different type of roof. And yes, I'm just going to go through the... Okay, shading, let's put ambient occlusion on just because. Now Shift A, another roof. Let's go with square. All the details in the world. It doesn't tell me the most important thing. I'll go back to that later, but Control Shift Control Shift C. Actually, yeah, Control Shift C. Origin to center. Selection to cursor. Okay, now then. Now we can come in and go. Don't worry about shading too much. Go to manipulate, because why not? Okay, so wait. Okay, so taking some minor modifications and eventually making it so that these doors rotate in a more useful manner. Probably ought to do a quick check on the live stream status. Looks like I went down for a quick second, but nobody appears to be watching anyways. Now let's add another roof line just because. Up a little bit. I can edit that to look more correct later. Oh good, the roof lines are actually whole units. So then what I can do okay, so without any further ado, here it is. The house that was designed by Petroheads. Now, minus the actual appliances and the fact that I'm like way too big in this thing and scale is not exactly my strong suit. But hey,